Hello and welcome. Glad you've all tuned in, and the hype is still going on from the Sussex's Colombian tour. We have an article here that basically is saying that Harry and Meghan have, quote, reinvented the royal tour. So let's get into this. The article here says, "We've known that Meghan was a proficient Spanish speaker ever since her pre-royal days, when she spoke about her stint working at the US Embassy in Buenos Aires. But it wasn't until this weekend, during her 4-day tour of Colombia with Prince Harry, that the public saw those skills at work. At a Sunday panel in Cali, the country's third largest city, Meghan delivered remarks in Spanish at an event aimed at uplifting the nation's Afro-Caribbean women. The Duchess connected earnestly with a group of regular people in a country other royals might not have been able to visit, at least not in an official capacity, and the scenes were a reminder of what the Windsors are missing now that she and Harry have set up their own court in Santa Barbara," the article says. Still, it's hard to get the images of their days as representatives of Queen Elizabeth II off our minds, and that might be why their recent international travels, including a February trip to Whistler, Canada, and a May tour of Nigeria, have felt so similar. The recent trips were made at the invitation of government officials, but as the British media is quick to point out, they are not official royal tours in quotes. Even though there isn't a cut and dry definition of an official tour, it generally refers to the fact that when working royals travel on the public purse, they are often representing the head of state at the request of the Foreign Office. The traditional royal tour is about diplomacy, managing relationships with the heads of other countries. The Sussexes' return to the road in 2024 is a sign of just how much their ambitions have broadened since they left the royal fold. Over the last few years, they have been collecting experiences and making connections on issues that include veterans advocacy, mental health, online safety, and women's empowerment. Now they are beginning to call attention to just how important those issues are to people around the world. Call it the next step in their plan for world domination, or at least their path to global policy change. On the Colombia trip, which lasted from August the 15th to August the 18th, Harry and Meghan traveled only as representatives of the work they've done themselves. The Duke and Duchess were invited to the country by the nation's first Black vice president, Francia Marquez, who explained her reasoning in a press conference soon after the couple's arrival. Quote, "How did I get to know Meghan and Harry? I first encountered them through the media. I particularly watched the Netflix series about their lives and their story, which deeply moved me," end quote, she said, and went on to add, quote, "It motivated me to say, this is a woman who deserves to visit our country and share her story, and undoubtedly her visit will strengthen so many women around the world," end quote. The article goes on to say the mutual admiration between Marquez and the Duchess was on display from their enthusiastic hug during their first meeting, and it was the beginning of a whirlwind tour that took them to 3 different cities and introduced them to music, theater, and fashion of the Latin American nation. Last week, they visited 2 primary schools in Bogota, where they took part in lessons about digital literacy and emotional well-being. During their visit to Colegio La Giralda, they were serenaded by a group of children, and Meghan said in Spanish, quote, "You're the same age as my son Archie," end quote. Though playing the drums seemed to be something she only does on tour, it's surprising how similar their activities in Colombia were to the type of events they might attend when they're closer to home. For the last few years, Meghan and Harry have visited classrooms across the US and the UK, and Meghan has given similar remarks about the importance of female empowerment in cities from Los Angeles to Austin to Abuja, Nigeria. But the main focus of the trip was connected to their recent foundation push to raise awareness about the harms that children might encounter online and provide support to victims. The centerpiece was a panel where they spoke about their work, and it had a similar format to the topics to the one they hosted in New York City in October 2023. In his remarks, Harry mentioned the couple's shared belief that, quote, information integrity is a fundamental right, end quote. The statement is reminiscent of the conclusions from a 2021 Aspen Institute panel on information disorder, which counted Harry as one of its participants. Cyberbullying and misinformation might have felt like first world problems, in quotes, as the internet was in its infancy, but Meghan and Harry's presence in Colombia underscored the fact that they've become increasingly common in countries all over the world, regardless of socio-economic status. In November, Colombia is hosting the first global ministerial conference on ending violence against children. Meghan and Harry's visit was intended to highlight some of the issues that will be addressed during that summit. So the article here points out something interesting. They say that the Sunday Times published an in-depth look at Harry's life and career with commentary from some of the friends and employees he left behind in the UK who worried about his Californian lifestyle. So they were asking, in essence, what was the purpose of Prince Harry? And a former aide told the newspaper, quote, the work with Invictus is great, and fatherhood was the role he most wanted, so perhaps those are enough for him. But everything else is a bit woolly, they said. I always thought he wanted more from life. I can't help but think he must be wondering, where do I go from here, end quote. But the article answers that, saying, in Colombia, Harry's answer to that question was on display, and if his former confidants were able to see it up close, maybe they wouldn't be so confused. In their post-royal work, the Sussexes have tried to change up the old royal routine. In May, Afam Onyema, the CEO of Gianco Foundation, who accompanied the couple on their Nigerian trip, told Vanity Fair that their goals are about doing, not just looking. Quote, I was really touched when they said it's not just going to be a speech and a photo op. They want to leave something, leave a legacy, end quote, Onyema said, and went on to say, quote, that's very important to them. From my experience with them and their team, leaving a legacy and impact and really helping people in direct, tangible ways, end quote. So that's the summary right there. All that to say that Harry and Meghan have carved out this new path as they are now on the road, as Prince Harry said, on the ground, doing the work. And it's just been so fantastic to see the doors opening up for this couple. And the warm welcome we have seen them receiving from dignitaries, from vice presidents, from the Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria, and on, who have been warmly welcoming this couple, have shown that the critics were wrong. Those who thought that when Harry and Meghan stepped away from being senior working royals, that it would mean they would slip into, quote, obscurity, it has not happened. They are not irrelevant. In fact, right now they are, as this article has said, they have reinvented the royal tour. They are carving out this path, trailblazing for those who actually occupy those roles, to look and see how Harry and Meghan are conducting themselves on these tours, learning about people on the ground, and just the team that they are. Meghan here highlighted in the fact that she was able to speak the language of the people. And in Nigeria, her being 43% Nigerian, finding that out and letting the world know that that was something that was so dear to her. And then this dynamite couple coming together, Harry with his background as well. And once again, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and a lot of you agreed, it is quite fitting to have the Sussexes use the gifts and strengths that they have in this facet of their lives. This is an area where they are both very strong. And thank you, by the way, for all of your comments that were so eloquent about Harry and Meghan and their strengths. And in this particular topic, as we know, Prince Harry has had that long background of being a statesman for sure. But also Meghan. One of you, thank you for pointing out that Meghan has a degree in international studies as well as theater from Northwestern School of Communication. you did say that this was kind of like a forecasting of what Meghan wanted to do with her life. So, she had her background working in the US Embassy in Argentina. She also traveled to visit the US soldiers in Afghanistan with USO. And also reminding us that Harry and Meghan's connection was that they both found they had so much commonality in their philanthropy and also in the ways that they look to give back. So that's just so special as well. Harry as well, with his background in doing this, and for him just it being old hat. Together, they're just such an amazing team. Of course, we cannot wait to see what's next. We know that Invictus Games in Vancouver Whistler is up on the horizon. And I think that this is just the first of many trips that this couple will be making. So share your thoughts on this in the comment section below. What do you think about this article saying that Harry and Meghan are reinventing the royal tour, in quotes? And just share your thoughts and highlights and standouts and what you have noticed in the coverage concerning the couple. And all in all, we're just so proud of them. It has been a huge success, what they have done. And it does indeed show that this is what the Windsors are missing out on, this pair. And now we're just getting to see the star power at work as they travel at the invite of these very influential individuals. As I said before, I think the best is yet to come. So share your thoughts once again in the comment section below. As always, before we log off, allow me here to thank those of you who support this channel financially and shout out a couple of you here by name. A very special thank you to you. James Calvin Daniels, thank you for the long time support for my channel. I appreciate you for choosing to accompany me here on this YouTube journey. Thank you for the kindness and generosity. May God bless you and yours. Thank you. A very special thank you as well to you, Anna M. Jackson. Thank you for choosing to be a blessing to me and to all of us here on this channel. You are loved. Thank you for the kind and generous support and warmth that you have continued to show. I love you and thank you. Once again, thank you to all who support this channel financially and to those who like, comment, and share. If you liked this one, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, follow on Twitter or X. I'd love to see you on there for more informal posts. Have a great day. Keep it here for more. And I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.